I arrived in Ireland with a mix of excitement and trepidation. It was my first solo trip abroad, and I'd chosen a remote village far from the typical tourist spots, wanting an authentic experience. The Airbnb was the cheapest one I could find, and I expected it to be a dump, but as I walked up the stone path, past the old oak trees and blooming heather, I was pleasantly surprised. The cottage was charming, almost out of a fairy tale. It had a thatched roof, ivy crawling up the walls, and a bright red door. The old couple running the place, Saoirse and Seamus, welcomed me with warm smiles and open arms. Saoirse was a short, plump woman with twinkling eyes and a quick laugh. Seamus was tall and lean, with a weathered face and a kind demeanor. "Welcome, Nora," Saoirse said, her accent thick and musical. "We're so glad to have you here. Come in, come in." Seamus took my bag, his grip strong yet gentle. "You'll love it here," he said. "It's a special place." They showed me to my room, which was small but cozy, with a soft bed, a wooden dresser, and a window that overlooked the rolling green hills. The room was decorated with handmade quilts and old photographs, giving it a timeless, welcoming feel. I unpacked my things, feeling more at home than I had expected. That first night, I slept deeply, lulled by the distant sound of the ocean and the rustling of leaves in the wind. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of wildflowers and the sea. It felt like the perfect escape from the hectic pace of life back in America. I woke up in the middle of the night, my mouth dry and an unsettling feeling in my chest. I got out of bed and went to the kitchen for a glass of water. The house was eerily silent, and the air felt heavy. I filled my glass from the old stone well in the backyard, the water cold and clear. As I drank, I heard whispers. Faint at first, like the wind through the trees, but then clearer, more insistent. They spoke of secrets, regrets, and things better left forgotten. I stumbled back inside, feeling a chill creep up my spine. The next day, I tried to shake off the strange feeling. Saoirse and Seamus seemed as friendly as ever, but there was something in their eyes, something I hadn't noticed before. A certain intensity, a hidden sorrow. I spent the day exploring the village, which seemed frozen in time. The streets were narrow and winding, lined with ancient stone cottages and lush gardens. The villagers were polite but distant, their eyes following me with a mix of curiosity and wariness. I visited the small local pub, where I overheard snippets of conversation about the well and its history, though the details were always vague, shrouded in mystery. As the day wore on, I found myself drawn back to the well. There was something about it, an aura of both beauty and menace. I couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching me, waiting for something. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing the whispers, growing louder, more urgent. I decided to go for a walk, hoping the fresh air would clear my mind. As I stepped outside, I saw Saoirse and Seamus standing by the well, their faces illuminated by the moonlight. They looked up as I approached, their expression solemn. "Nora," Saoirse said softly, "there's something you need to know." She explained that the village had a dark secret. The well was ancient, and the water held a curse. Those who drank from it heard the whispers of an entity that dwelled within, a being that demanded a yearly sacrifice. Their family had been chosen for the sacrifice this year, and they had lowered the price of their Airbnb to lure someone to take their place. "The well has chosen our household," Saoirse continued, her voice devoid of the warmth it had held before. "Anyone in the household could be sacrificed, but it's up to us to decide who. We knew this would happen, and we're glad it's not us." I felt a surge of panic. "What are you talking about? This is insane." I backed away, my mind racing. "There has to be another way." Seamus stepped forward, his face cold and unyielding. "There are no other ways. The entity must be appeased, or the village will suffer." Saoirse's eyes gleamed with a cold satisfaction. "We reduced the price, knowing some naive foreigner would book it. You see, we needed someone who wasn't connected to the village. Someone who wouldn't be missed." Their kindness had been a ruse, a carefully constructed act to lure me into a trap. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I was the sacrifice, chosen to save them and the village. I turned and ran, not caring where I was going, just needing to get away. I could hear Saoirse and Seamus calling after me, but I didn't stop. I ran down the main road, the village houses blurring past me. I could hear car engines roaring behind me, the lights cutting through the darkness. They were coming after me. I pushed myself harder, my heart pounding in my chest. The road seemed endless, stretching out before me like a nightmare. The moonlight illuminated the path, casting long, haunting shadows. My footsteps echoed loudly in the stillness of the night, a frantic rhythm that mirrored my racing heart. The trees on either side of the road seemed to close in on me, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. I saw the lights of a larger town in the distance, hope sparking within me. If I could just make it there, I might be safe. The cars were gaining on me, their headlights growing brighter. I glanced back and saw the villagers, their faces set with grim determination. I ran faster, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The town was so close, just a little further. The whispers were louder now, echoing in my mind, urging me to give up, to accept my fate. But I couldn't. I wouldn't. With one final burst of energy, I sprinted towards the town, praying I could lose them and find safety before they caught up to me. The lights grew brighter, closer, and I held on to the hope that I might just make it, might just survive this nightmare. I stumbled into the town square, collapsing to the ground in exhaustion. I could see people rushing towards me, their faces filled with concern and confusion. I tried to explain what had happened, but my words came out in a jumbled mess. The townspeople listened, their faces a mix of concern and disbelief. They took me to the local police station, where I told my story again, this time more coherently. The police promised to investigate, to look into the village and the well. I spent the night in a new bed and breakfast, arranged by the kind locals who had found me. It was a small, cozy place, much like the one I had fled. The room was warm, the bed soft, and the whispers were almost gone. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt since arriving in Ireland. As I lay in bed, my eyes growing heavy, I heard voices outside my door. At first, they were indistinct, just a murmur of conversation. But then, I recognized them. "Thank you for looking after our guest," Saoirse's voice said, filled with an unsettling cheerfulness. "Yes, we're so grateful," Seamus added, his tone equally jovial. "We were so worried about her." My heart stopped, and a cold dread washed over me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How had they found me? How could they be here? As I heard footsteps approaching my room, I knew that my time was up. The door creaked open, and I closed my eyes, the cold satisfaction in Saoirse and Seamus's voices echoing in my mind. "Thank you, Nora," Saoirse whispered, her voice filled with cruel satisfaction. "For saving us." I opened my eyes, staring into the darkness, knowing that there was no escape. My fate was sealed. The well had claimed its sacrifice, and I was powerless to stop it.
Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment. We will try to respond to all.